Every boyfriend I get is brutally dying. Now I know the truth about them. And me. It's me, Brianna. Not you. That's what my latest boyfriend told me before walking directly into the path of a truck. There was barely anything of him, just enough to peel off of the sidewalk. I thought our relationship was going well. It's not like I'm desensitized to my boyfriends dying or ceasing to exist, but it's almost become the norm. Ben was my first boyfriend in high school, and my longest relationship to date. Fluffy-haired Ben with his dimpled grin and freckles. He was the type of guy who should have been popular, but chose to keep to himself. I met him in the principal's office. Ben was being lectured for sneaking around and I was handing in a late assignment. All he did was wink at me, and I fell hard. We dated for 2 years, and I really thought he was the one. Ben told me he loved me, and every Friday he introduced me to a new restaurant. I was in love. I loved everything about him. On the night before our senior prom, a drunk driver T-boned my boyfriend's car, killing him instantly. After his funeral, it's like he stopped existing. His parents left town, and every time I mentioned him, my parents would slowly tilt their heads and act confused when I brought him up. My brother was the worst for it, considering he and Ben were best friends. But he just looked at me with this weird fucking look in his eye, like his soul had been ripped out. Eyes are the windows to the soul, apparently, and my brother's soul was MIA. Ben? His expression crumpled. Wait, who? Alex was my emotional support, who later became someone closer. Funny Alex. Blonde but not quite blonde. Alex. I met him in group therapy. My boyfriend was dead, and he had just lost his mother. We didn't label it, because he had a girlfriend, and I didn't want to move on so quickly. I think we just found comfort in each other. Eventually, though, Alex became something I wanted to label. His sense of humor was a breath of fresh air. I didn't go to college because of Ben's death, settling for a mediocre barista stop in town. Alex came in every day with fresh coffee and a sugar cookie. I think I loved him. I told him that, half asleep. I told him I wanted to try and be something more with him. Alex looked taken aback, but happy. We spent the night together. The morning after, I woke to my mother screaming. Alex was dead in the bathroom, his blood splattering, staining pristine white. According to the first responders, he died of a self-inflicted head injury. The exact same thing followed. I attended his funeral, and Alex's family disappeared. This time, I went back to his house, but according to a neighbor, his house had been abandoned for 10 years. I had eaten pancakes in his kitchen just days earlier. I broke in to see myself, but my neighbor was right. The hallway was piled with ancient mail and threats of eviction. Alex's room didn't exist. Instead, a storage room filled with boxes. When I got home, my family had already forgotten Alex's existence. The town had forgotten him, and yet his blood still stained my bathroom. Following Alex's death, I was terrified of getting too close to people, but Esme made it hard. She was my third relationship. We met at a bar. I was extremely drunk and convinced I was cursed to kill all of my romantic partners. Esme, cute Esme, crooked teeth and smudged lipstick and warm Esme. Do you know that person you meet and you instantly connect with them? The person you're sure is your soulmate? That was Esme. I told myself I wouldn't get close to her, but I was already talking to this girl, already pouring my life out to her. Esme sat and listened, her chin resting on her fist. She was a first-year creative writing student, and she had a cat called Peanut. I didn't remember much after that. We hit it off, and next thing I know we're curled up in the back of her car watching Buffy on her iPad. I told her about my exes, and she nodded and smiled, but I don't think she was listening. I told her all of my exes have died, and then been erased from existence. Esme called me cute. She wanted to base a story around the concept, sitting up and grabbing her phone. I have this memory of the girl I fell in love with at first sight. She's nodding along to a Smiths song spluttering from my car radio, typing on her phone. I can hear the tapping of her nails, her lips curving into a smile. I can see the exact moment she gets inspiration, pulling her knees to her chest. She's wearing fishnet tights that are torn, and a jacket that doesn't fit her. She is fucking beautiful, and I don't want to lose her. Alex was beautiful. He had pretty eyes and brown curls that I liked running my hands through. Ben was beautiful. He made my heart swim, my stomach swarm with butterflies. When I first met him, Ben was my first love. The realization woke me up one night, 3 months into dating Esme. Both of them were dead, wiped away like they never existed, and Esme would follow. At first, I tried to break it off with her without sounding crazy. I told her it was me, not her, and I wasn't in the mindset for a relationship. Esme understood, but her eyes didn't. I didn't want to lose her. Esme lit up every room she entered. Her obsession with thrifted clothes and badly written poems, and her irrational fear of pandas, made her someone I wanted to be with. So, I stayed with her. I told myself Ben and Alex were just coincidences that were nothing to do with me, and I wasn't indirectly fucking killing the people I fell in love with. I avoided the L word for as long as I could. It slipped out on my way to work. Esme was driving. I just said it, and her eyes lit up. She reached out and squeezed my hand. At work, one of my colleagues, Jasper, caught my eye. When I twisted around to ask him to grab something, I glimpsed his phone screen. It looked like Tinder, though I didn't recognize the layout. It reminded me of Twitter, in dark mode. Jasper was leaning against the counter, his thumb hovering over a photo of Esme, chewing his bottom lip. I watched his thumb prance across the screen, before he gave up and swiped left. Finishing up the woman's coffee, I handed it over. I asked for cream. Ignoring her, I sidled in front of my colleague, hyper-focused on whatever app he was playing around with. What's that? Jasper looked up, his eyes widening, lips parting, like a fucking goldfish. Clearly nothing. Jasper sidestepped me, opening the refrigerator and pulling out milk, but he already had milk. The bastard was stalling. We had 0 customers waiting, so it was the two of us, and a long, dragged-out pause. Jumping up and down on the heels of his feet, he shot me his usual grin, slipping his phone in his apron. Jasper may have been smiling, though there was something twisted in his expression. I couldn't stop myself. Was that a dating app? Dating app? Excuse me, can I get what I ordered? The woman demanded, waving her coffee in the air. I asked for whipped cream. Jasper saw that as an excuse, an escape, and nodded, fashioning a grin. He saw an opportunity, and took it. Of course, ma'am, I'll get that for you, he said, with a little too much sarcasm. The boy took her coffee with a spring in his step, ducking in the refrigerator for the whipping cream. Jasper added too much whipping cream, dumping the drink on the counter with a little too much force. It was a good thing my colleague was marginally attractive guy with cropped blonde hair, and a deadpan voice that somehow attracted the ladies. Jasper could insult someone directly to their face, and they would just blush and get all tongue-tied. I had seen it happen in real time. A girl was flirting with him, and used a bad pickup line, which was something along the lines of, "Did it hurt when you fell from heaven?" He laughed, and her eyes brightened. She giggled along with him, nudging her friends, but he wasn't laughing with her. I saw the gleam in his eye. He was laughing at her. Still laughing, Jasper plonked her milk latte down so hard half of it spewed out. And, with that exact same charming smile, he deadpanned, "Did it hurt when you dropped out of a drain pipe?" Yeah, my colleague was blessed with good looks. Otherwise, he would have been punched in the face by now. Presently, he was being his usual asshole self. "Is there anything else I can get you?" The woman shook her head, pulling a face. Jasper had, essentially, ruined her drink. It was more cream than coffee. When she left the store, I situated myself in front of him when he was counting cash. "What were you just looking at?" I nodded to the guy's phone sticking out of his pocket. "Was it like a dating thing you were on?" Jasper didn't even look at me, his lip curling. "That's kinda rude," he hummed. "I don't peek at your phone." Esme Hope was all I could hiss out. "Was she on that dating app?" My colleague proceeded to stare at me like I'd grown a second head, before his half-lidded gaze flicked behind me. Jasper's expression brightened. "Oh, Hannah is calling me," he said, choking out a laugh. Hannah was not calling him. She was in the break room getting high. Jasper slowly backed away, maintaining his smile. "I'll be back in a second, all right?" He grabbed that same carton of milk with a grin. "Don't you just love when your milk stays fresh?" "What? Fresh milk?" He grinned. "Mulberry Farm's finest." Jasper was darting away before I could coerce a sentence. After work, I texted Esme as usual. She was my ride on Fridays. Esme didn't reply. I texted her again, a little more panicked. "Hey, are you okay?" When I called her, an automated voice told me she wasn't available. Already feeling sick to my stomach, I drove to replace myself. I could see the flashing lights before anything else, blurred red and blue sending my thoughts into a whirlwind. It took me 10 minutes to muster the courage to jump out of my car and ask a pale-looking deputy what was going on. I tried to jump over the yellow tape, only to be politely pulled back. "Carbon monoxide poisoning," the deputy told me. "The whole family is dead." He sighed. "Mom, Dad, and their daughter in college." I think he was trying to be sympathetic, awkwardly patting me, but I was already on my knees, all of the breath dragged from my lungs. Luckily, it's just like going to sleep. Monoxide is a silent killer. Monoxide is a silent killer. Was that the same as, "I'm sorry"? Ben was in the wrong place at the wrong time. And, Alex was silently suffering. He did what he thought was best. I didn't go to Esme's funeral. Mom and Dad and Will had already forgotten her, just like the others. What I did do, several days later, when her name wasn't even a memory anymore, I bought flowers from the store. Roses were Esme's favorite. The seller was around my mom's age, a plump-looking woman wearing a floral dress, long red hair tied into a ponytail. She was on her phone, humming to a tune on the radio. "The Smiths. I hope she likes them," the woman said, wrapping the flowers in red ribbons. She had a strong southern accent that immediately annoyed me. I took the roses, stuffing them in my bag. "What did you say?" The seller cocked her head. How did you know they were for my girlfriend?" The woman sighed, placing her phone on the counter. I glanced at whatever she'd been so interested in, but the screen was face down. Esme came in here a lot. Her lips broke out into a sad, sympathetic smile. I was quickly growing sick of them. "Esme, she told me you guys were dating." Esme was always buying roses for her room. Sometimes she would stand in here for hours, and just stare at flowers. I think she found comfort in them. The woman sighed, fixing me with what I could only describe as a pitiful pout. "Ugh, I hope you can find the same comfort," she murmured. The seller handed me an extra rose, and I found myself reaching out for it, my eyes stinging. Fuck, I hadn't cracked in at least 15 hours, and that was a record. But now I could feel myself splintering, tears trickling down my cheeks. The flower lady squeezed my hand. "I'm sorry, sweetheart. If it makes you feel better, it's just like going to sleep. Monoxide is a silent killer." Her words were familiar, exactly what the deputy said. Before I could speak, she dumped weed killer on the counter. "Did you know our plant killer is $10.99? Her sudden bout of energy took me off guard. I tried to smile. "I don't want any plant killer." The seller nodded, handing me another rose. "Oh, of course, darling, but it is $5.99, just for today." Something pricked me, and I hissed out, wafting my hand. "Damn thorns." I could already see a single spot of blood. I nodded, sucking my teeth against a cry. "Thanks, but I'll skip it this time." I took the roses to what used to be Esme's grave. Now, it was an empty headstone with no name, no memories, no flowers, nothing. Just like Alex and Ben, Esme had been reduced to dirt under my feet. I stayed at her grave for a long time, long enough for the sky to grow dark, and my thoughts darker. I tried to find a logical explanation for the sudden deaths of the people I got close to, but all I could think of was a curse. So, I started Googling curses, leaning against Esme's headstone, my knees to my chest. Had I been cursed? Was my family cursed? According to Google, a cursed object connected with the curse itself, which could be anything, though I didn't remember visiting any ancient ruins, or an old church. With zero answers, I headed home. I passed a guy playing the Smiths in his car, then a group of older women wearing ripped fishnets. Esme was following me, just like Alex's smell, fresh coffee and rich chocolate. Ben's cologne filled my car last summer. His favorite band was playing all day on our local music station. I drove around with no destination, listening to each one on repeat, until I was losing him all over again. The sweet aroma of flowers followed me all the way home, and I was tipsy on the smell, when I found myself face to face with a boy. Under the overexposed streetlight, this guy was almost ethereal. Thick brown hair and freckles. He reminded me of Ben, which wasn't fair. I thought I was hallucinating him. Before he came closer, bleeding from the shadow, I saw more of him. White strips of something wrapped around his head. Wrong. The word slammed into me when I glimpsed his clothes. Filthy. The guy was wearing a white button-down, a single streak of bright red ingrained into the material. His white pants were torn, glued to his legs. He was barefoot, the soles of his feet slapping on wet concrete. I didn't realize he was in front of me, nose to nose, until he shoved me hard. Josie. His voice was a whimper, despite his narrowed eyes. His lips twisted into a scowl. He was crying, and had been crying, every heaving sun sputtering from his mouth. The boy shoved me again, and I staggered. His ice-cold breath grazed my cheeks. What the fuck did you do to my sister? Sister? I whispered. Something wet landed on my cheek. Suddenly, rain. I wasn't expecting a downpour. The weather was forecasted to be clear. To my surprise, the guy let out a harsh-sounding laugh. The two of us were slowly getting drenched, but neither of us were making a move to get out of the rain. My hair was glued to the back of my neck, my clothes sticking to me, but somehow, I wanted to stay in the rain. It was refreshing. When a thought hit me, telling me to get out of the rain, it was shoved to the back of my mind. The guy spat water out of his mouth, shaking his head like a dog. Of course, he muttered, "Drown me out with the rain." I found my voice, my gaze glued to intense red seeping through the bandage stapled to his head. He looked like he'd escaped an emergency room. "I don't know anyone called Josie," I said. "I think you've got the wrong person." The guy's eyes narrowed. He stepped closer, grabbing my shoulders, and I noticed how hollow his eyes were. Empty caverns carved into his skull. Eyes are the windows to the soul, and this guy was completely soulless. "I'm only going to say this once," he whispered. "What did you do to my sister?" Before I could respond, the guy was being violently grabbed and dragged back. Figures who appeared seemingly out of nowhere. "Let me go," he cried out, struggling. "You fucking assholes. Let me go." His screaming became muffling when his cries were gagged. "You promised," he yelled, his cries collapsing into a sob. "You said if you took me, she wouldn't get hurt. So, where is she?" He met my gaze, his expression crumpling, something inside him coming apart, splintering by the seams. "You can't take both of us." This wasn't in the agreement. When he was dragged further back, I noticed a car parked at the side of the road. The boy was pulled inside. At first, he refused, before an extra pair of hands shoved him. "You fucking MMMPHMMHPHMMM." I heard his fist slamming into the windows. "Don't take me back there, please. Just let Josie." His cries once again collapsed into angry muffled screaming, and I felt my hands moving towards my pocket for my phone. This was a kidnapping, right? I was witnessing a kidnapping in broad fucking daylight. A shadow was suddenly in front of me, and I jumped, tearing my eyes from the car. Jasper, my colleague. He was still wearing his apron, and to my confusion, was swinging a carton of whole milk. "Sorry, Bree," he winked, speaking in a single breath. "As you can see, our friend here had a little too much to drink." I nodded, craning my neck. Jasper stepped in front of me, maintaining a grin. "Who is he?" This time, I sidestepped away from him, only for him to copy. "Just a guy," he said. "As you can see, he's a little." Jasper prodded his right temple. "Let's just say he's got a few too many screws loose." Jasper laughed, staying stock still, blocking my way. When I made a move to counter him, he stepped in front of me, his eyes hardening. "I heard he lost his family a while ago in A." He pretended to think. "Oh, yeah, a car crash. Maybe a gas explosion. I'm not really sure." I could hear the car behind him, and once again I tried to dart past him, but he was quick to block my way. He was getting closer to me, very subtly backing me in the opposite direction. Anyway, this guy is fine of nuts. Dude still thinks he's got a sister. When I lost patience and shoved him out of the way, the car, and the guy, was gone. "See?" Jasper rolled his eyes. He was still holding milk from work. My head spun. It was 8 p.m. We were in a suburban neighborhood, and Jasper was holding half a pint of milk. His apron was stained with coffee, and when I really looked at him, I realized he was out of breath. He was doing a good job of hiding it, exhaling in intervals, swiping at his forehead to clear sweat. When I noticed, he pretended to run his hands through his hair. I feel for him. Like, "I'm sorry his family died," or whatever, but attacking random girls isn't cool, you know? Instead of replying, I stumbled home. It was sunny.